Hello, traders. All right. How is everyone doing today? I just wanted to do this as, basically just a quick daily/weekly close session. We'll take a look at the CME chart, which has just had this big old gap down. So we do have that. So we now do have the CME gap here. Yeah. So we'll see how everything's going. Trading Views moved one of my levels again. I can see it. Ugh. Lock them in. The monthly there is good. There's a weekly that's got caught underneath it. That's all fine. You can just shift that down there as a little zone. Lock. Lock. Theraz, what do you make of these orders on FTX on Trading Light? Yes, I was just looking at those. Okay, so we've got a ton of, selling up here. Now I think this is taking profit, okay, because we can see the open interest declining as we're coming up into these orders here. So to me, this looks like it's profit taking. However, now it looks like it's moving the other way. So this is interesting. Okay, we do have, of course, CME is now open, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here with basically the real markets being open again now. We've kind of moved away slightly from that weekend stuff, and yeah, we'll maybe be getting a bit more volume. This seems kind of significant. Okay, so this is the first time, like, this is profit taking. We're now seeing an increase in open interest again with price coming down. So we'll monitor this. Short the CME hopium longs, yeah. Yeah. Alex Trainer, is the CME gap important? Where would you rate it in TA? I I don't say it's not particularly important. I think it acts as a good reference. So if you come into a gap, you're likely to get a reaction from that. Just the same as we did, of course, we did have that CME gap to the downside. Yes, we had that little reaction from it on Friday night. Okay, so you can see as price came in, filled the gap. There's your reaction, not much, and then you move on. So they're tradable levels, but it's certainly nothing that I'd go, oh, we're going to come back straight away and fill the CME gap. It's just that's not something you can trade. It would be different if like the gap was very close to price and was within kind of reaching distance to it. That would be quite different. But yeah, on this occasion, not particularly significant at all. But it's there. Okay, we do have that CME gap there. It's maybe worth just marking it on the chart as a gap. There it is. Weirdly enough, they closed up here, but the daily. Okay, we'll just do it from the daily. Weird how it calculates this stuff. There we go. It's there. We'll see what happens. Uh, so I also want to go over just a few things on the Bitcoin chart and yeah, Ethereum and things like that. Blue Bits, did you close your longs from 39 to 40k? You were targeting 98. I don't know if 98 was a target. That's maybe a little bit high. I think I was looking up like, yeah, with those longs, I mean, I was targeting like 180 to 220, but that's like a long way down the line. From a particular trade, I think, yeah, I've was able to take profit on that, and yes, I've been stopped out on that. There is one long that survived actually, which I didn't realize. So I'm in one long position that did survive, but holding on to that for now, and we'll see how it goes. Um, but yeah, what do I think about the shakeout? I think it was very, very efficient. Clearly, clearly it was. So we can go over some of the reasons why this happened. If anyone wants a little bit of a run through. Now, I wasn't. I was out on Friday night, so I wasn't around to trade any of it. But the signs were there within the afternoon, and there were some very significant things that did happen during the afternoon when I wasn't at the charts that I can run people through as maybe I guess just a little bit of a case study of where we were and what happened with this, and maybe why it just collapsed the way that it did, just from a chart perspective. If anyone's interested in that, it all started up here basically. Um, it was at this point here, just before New York opened, um, where you created some imbalances at the highs. You took these highs out, lost that level, and at that point, as soon as you come back down to this, and you then lose this area without getting the bounce like you had done the previous 11 times, it was then a case of yeah, just cascading down and taking stop losses and things. So was yeah, certainly an interesting evening, and it was a shock. Like I was pretty shocked to wake up and to see this happen. Like I say, I was out on Friday night. Yeah, I'd seen that we'd hit 52k, um, and then woke up. I was like, whoa, okay, that's a bit crazy. But it's all good. You just you trade the new levels, and that's what we've got right now. So there's a few things that are significant for me. Again, anyone in the crew, you're already well aware of this, because we did just have a discussion on it this evening. But there's a few things I like, okay? Now, this is the same on spot and on perpetuals. So um, we had this move down, okay, and this was macro golden pocket weekly, monthly levels, okay? So you have your weekly and your monthly closes down here. If we reset this, here are the levels, and just at the moment, back testing these. What would be incredibly strong at this stage, I think, would be to reclaim 52 and to hold above that level. I'm not really expecting that, but I think the main level that I'm really looking for at the moment is that you can see how after we got that dip, we can look at this point of control here, and again, this the same on spot and perpetuals, how we were just holding this area, and so far it doesn't look like it wants to come down and make that secondary low just yet. Uh, we probably will have an attempt back to the downside again at some point, but not just yet. So again, you can see this point of control. You had that wick down, immediately recovered that, and then you hold that point of control, and we do appear to be moving up right now. So that's interesting. The other thing that is of note here is just where things are in terms of like this downsloping resistance. Okay, just coming back into that area, coming back into your point of control, coming back into those major high time frame levels on the chart, which is quite significant there. So very much neutral on the chart for myself. We're obviously going to get resistance if price does get back up to 52k. That it almost certainly will be big resistance if price comes back up there. At that point, maybe we're looking back down towards this area and a larger range being put in. We'll see how that goes along. What you'll have at that point is, let's say it gets a bounce here and comes down here. You know what people are going to be looking at, right? As this being a big head and shoulders with lower prices, which could make things very interesting. Other than that, yeah, it's just nothing much within this area. So you can see we're coming back into this area where there's very low volume. So we clearly lost the range that we were in, being up here. As soon as you lost that range, it was just very little volume being able to hold price up. What happens? You come down into your point of control where the next area of volume is, and yeah, just looking to kind of fill out those areas now. So FTX removed all the limit buy orders a few hours before the dump. Yes. Yeah, I did see that. Where are they? They didn't. They didn't. There was. Yeah, this stuff had gone. But again, that's not too. What was it that we saw earlier? What exchange was it I was looking at? Can't remember. There's one exchange that was really interesting when it came down to this. Oh no, it's just this. Yeah, that's not really too significant now. Just how as price was coming down, how Bitfinex pulled all the bids at this point. Like everything, just removed everything. I think what's more likely though is that was probably a bot recognizing volatility and probably kicking in and just cancelling everything. But we don't really know, so yeah. FTX again. We're now getting this increase in open interest coming up into this area, so this could now be where short positions are looking. So you did have closing of long positions, possibly now at this point opening of short positions. We shall see. Pump into 49.7k and then downwards move into Monday. It would make sense. That would make sense. Where are the highs on this? Oh, Sam Trabuco from Almeida gave a fair explanation on his Twitter page. I'll have to check that out. What, an explanation on what they were doing at that point, or I don't know. I'm not going to open up my Twitter on here, but I am just going to log on in another screen so I can have a look. Stuart Sharp, exactly that, Callis. 1 a.m. UK time, 49,750 swing failure pattern. That will be interesting. For me, yeah, I think we're looking at this as being a range here. You can kind of split this up into two little ranges. So we have our initial one. In fact, that's more or less this. Whop. Maybe lower. And then you got this little one here. I'll have a look at that that Almeida stuff. That'll be interesting to look at. The interesting thing at the moment is, of course, funding rates still negative, or funding rates are negative. So if you are in long positions, you're getting paid for those long positions. It's been a while since we've seen anything like that. FTX is interesting here. So this is interesting. I think tomorrow is going to be have a big part to play. We'll see what the initial balance is of tomorrow. We'll see what happens during the London session and the New York session tomorrow, and take it at that, really. What else do we have that could be kind of significant on this? I found this interesting. Okay, the 200 EMA. I don't use EMAs much, but just how it like holding below that area at the moment, and again, possible reclaim of that at some point would look better. But EMAs. The weekly EMA. Yeah, we'll have a look at it. Whoops. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, weekly EMA. A red Monday would get everyone so bearish. It would. It definitely would. I mean, if people aren't already bearish enough. Anchor VWAP from March low. Yeah, back there again. What is spot saying? Spot exchange is not quite following the anchored view up idea. Liquid, yeah. I think the thing is, like, a lot of people would have got liquidated on that drop. It's an unfortunate part of trading, and yeah, these things happen. But yeah, you just got to get risk management right, I guess. And yeah. Liquid, I just added 4 letters, yeah. Let's have a look at ETH. So ETH is interesting as well. Okay. All right. So where did price come into? And this is again slightly different on other charts, but you're looking at back testing a previous monthly close, quite an important one. Hit it pretty much perfectly. Okay. On here now, this is a BitMEX chart. It's just there, but I mean you were close on everything. Um, the other thing we do have to be aware of at the moment on ETH is there is big bearish divergence at these highs. So do be aware that there is bearish divergence up here. It has had a nice breakout and back test of that big old triangle that it was in. Had a really nice reaction off of that. So yeah, something to be aware of. And I do think that Ethereum, as long as you're holding above that like 3,950 area, then I think that looks pretty good. Incognito, when is VWAP Trader coming back on stream? His tweet the other day about BTC was a good explanation of the dump. I haven't seen his tweet the other day. I'll have to have a look at that. Again, I was out on Friday night and I have been having a weekend. So I really haven't been trading or looking at this so much. What else can we look at? Mini bear market upon us, possibly. I mean, the thing is, of course it is. We're in a downtrend. Um, so I'm not going to say like mini bear market. It just is what it is. You trade it level by level. We're in a downtrend, but we're within a macro uptrend. So medium term, you've got to be saying like shorts clearly have been paying off. We are down 40% exactly from the highs. Now a 40% correction is pretty much like standard for Bitcoin. We did a bit more than that, obviously, earlier on in the year. Had that big over 50% correction, but a 40% correction is pretty much standard. Yeah, it's holding structure on a macro, but yes, we are going to go through at least a few weeks of range bound at the very least, or bearishness within a lot of stuff. Even if price goes up, we're still not going to be able to get back up to those all-time highs for a while. So yeah. Andreas, funny thing, every bear market started in December in a 4-year cycle. Last was December 2017. Indeed, it was, but we haven't really had the bull market like we had in 2017 at all. Like this year hasn't really been very bullish. This year's just been a big hold range that Bitcoin's put in. It's been really interesting because we had what, like 3 months, 2 months of really bull run, but this was already well on its way since the previous September or COVID crash before that. So we had a good year at that point up until March. And then you go through this, and yeah, I think the traditional cycles and everything is they're much more difficult to predict now. There's so many different things that are going on this chart, which is all really interesting. But yeah, we'll have to just monitor it level by level as always. That's how we trade this stuff and see what happens. Yes, I do use exocharts. I use exocharts very often. Whereas fine when times are rough. I thought he'd come on here being like, I told you so. He loves to be the bear. Heisenberg. Everyone is super bearish, funding's bullish, so wouldn't it make more sense to go up from here when everyone's expecting lower prices? Um just seen the comment below. It would but we've already had a pretty big um yeah, we've already had a pretty big move up. We've got to go back, like I think what'll be interesting is just compare this. Let's go on to like spot. Okay, let's have a look at this from maybe a chart that I don't already have anything on. Okay, so let's look at the 4 hours, 4 hour chart. And for me, this feels more COVID crash kind of crash than anything else. Like obviously not as big, not as bad. Much more so than this back in May, which was a much more controlled move down. It lasted, well, and it was much easier to predict. So you had a good week of downwards price action here, whereas all of this happened in one day. So there are two things really that it reminds me of. First of all is the COVID crash low. Okay, so in which case what we did after that was okay, very, very different kind of circumstances with everything that was going on there. But you got that second low and then it never really looked back, and we could be looking at that kind of thing now, whereas we've maybe slightly put in that low. So if we do come over here, look at where price is now, all the way up here. Where is it? Just click reset chart. Yeah, maybe there's a low that's been put in and we'll see it. And if it just continues to start stepping up, we'll see what happens with that. The other bit it reminds me of is, again, back here when you did have that big rug pull just before the bull run started. So yeah, more so than the May crash, we're looking at this being very much just a big liquidation event. Stop losses being taken rather than a massive distribution at the highs. Anthony Notorious PAP, do you still stand by your price prediction end of year? Of course not. Of course not. My price prediction was never based off anything serious apart from it being like if we were going to go on a mad bull run, then that's where things would end up. I do still believe, like, of course, if we're looking at this as continuing a cycle and this being a big range that will eventually break to the upside, then yes, those same targets remain, but that will be pushed to the end of next year at this point. And it's like, yeah, you can't get that now. No way. Duh, 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 duh. Andreas, yes, sorry. In May, way easier because BTC hitting the reversal on Fib 2. Yep. Um, Maltus, Luke had a big liquidation event on Friday night. I did, but liquid of a different kind that made me pretty hungover the next day. Tice Wolf. Yeah, I'm certainly not expecting 35k. Um, there's absolutely no reason to think that we're going to go down to 35k. If we do, it will take quite a long time, I think. Yeah, for me, that's not really what I'm looking at. I think what would be ideal is to put in a bit of a range here. Maybe let's just come back down to the lows again, and then we can start to just test up here again, probably back down, and you just start to chop around a bit. Um, see what kind of larger range gets established. See what happens with the funding. It's early days. Like we're still in the weekend. Um, yeah, so still very much early days. So yeah. What S&P doing? Like the stock market as well. This has a bit more room to the downside to go. Possibly, it's holding the 0.5 here. Um, so we may see one more kind of rolling over in price here on with stocks before. Again, I don't think this is that bad in the stock market. Yeah, you've had a pullback. You've had quite a significant pullback as far as S&P 500 goes, but 5%, nothing too serious. The dollar at major resistance on the chart, so we'll just have to see how that gets along. One thing I thought was interesting, look at this, Coinbase. Look where it's come back into. This little gap here on this chart. Actually from low to high. So Coinbase itself at a very, very interesting level, and because that has a lot to do with crypto, right? So this is interesting. I spotted that earlier, so we'll have to see what happens with that one. Coinbase actually looks a pretty good buy here. Maybe more so than a lot of crypto. So the stocks, the crypto stocks maybe are looking the better buy right now. Rory OC, can you have a look at the bat that P posted in high time frame? Oh man, we're back to the bat again, are we? um, oh, this would be the yeah. It is there, isn't it? Again, you're gonna get mad stuff like this coming out. If it happens, it happens. You just trade it as that. What are we looking at? I'll just pull it up. I'll pull up P's chart instead. I mean, there it is. If it happens, it happens. Whoops. Ah, it's not letting me scroll. Here we go. Have you read all the big CEOs and insiders sold most of their stocks? They say it's because of the taxation of unrealized gains. But let's be honest, something is brewing here. There's also stuff about stock buybacks. There is some new legislation that's passed preventing stock buybacks in at the extent that they were doing it before. I don't know all of the ins and outs of it, but I know that that is a thing. So you're getting a lot less stock buybacks from, like, obviously big companies and again, and those insiders. So that's interesting. Wouldn't it be better for BTC to swing failure pattern this and previous low to create panic before pump again? Possibly, but we're looking at that's not something I'm looking at happening that soon. That would be another 20% move to the downside. I think we just go pretty sideways for a while. Sideways for a week or two, we can just trade this as a range. I don't think we'll be coming back down to the lows. I do think we could take out like this low, but yet I'm not really looking for down there. Maybe I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it happens, it happens. That's a long way down. That's another. Yeah, it's a long way. Do you typically hold on to your spot positions through this, or recognize the drop and rebuy lower? I haven't really. No, I haven't changed my spot holdings on this at all. It's too late. The time to have got out of that would have been up here. I don't. Um, it's too late to sell, in my opinion. My portfolio's taken a hit, but it's all good. You can still continue to trade it. So, yeah. Is there anything that we want to look at from? There's some stuff that's held up really well, like Algo, one in particular that's held up really fantastically well. Um, that's a very strong performance from this. So Algo is one that's still looking very good. ADA is interesting around here because we're back down at this again, this 2018 all-time high within an area that we're looking at. So a lot of these alts haven't changed all that much. You look at the stuff that's held up against Bitcoin. For example, like Ethereum did, but obviously Ethereum had a big pullback at the same time as Bitcoin and now is back up at resistance again. But there is some stuff that's looking really quite strong. Just gotta find it. There goes Bit token, man. I did buy back into this over here, and yeah, just gotta hold that now. Matic, another one that did hold out really well. Comp, ridiculous. Comp is so weak. Oh, every time it starts to look good, it just turns to shit. CRV is another one at a really interesting point. Okay, it didn't hold up so good, but it's been on a nice run anyway. DYDX wrecked. Dot. Wow, dot. Dot is interesting. Doge wrecked, good. Shit, man. EOS. Oof. Awful. EOS is just completely dead. Filecoin. Apparently, I was saying at some point that this was going to go down to $33. It has, so that's nice. Oh yeah, I think it was coming down towards this daily and things as well. FTT. FTT looks interesting, okay, if you're looking at this, the stuff that's holding out against the Bitcoin price. Dollar value is looking pretty poor, but right area. Taking out these lows. FTT is interesting. Gala's finally done. ICP. Oh, poor little ICP. This is another one I am holding. I've been accumulating it at $40. We're now at $30. What can you do? Let's see how it gets on. Oh, where's Matic gone? Know where Matic's going. So yeah, Matic looks like it's got a bit more left in it. So you're probably, I'd expect you're probably going to have some kind of double top up here on this. So you maybe come up, take these highs. If this can get another push up towards here. How high is that? 20%. Yeah. So I think we probably do get some new highs on Matic maybe. But at that point you'd be looking at a divergence. So you could trade it as that. OMG. Oh, the poor people that bought OMG for the airdrop. Absolutely destroyed. Interesting. Long-term investment on ICP, been buying spot. Yeah, that's how it is for me now. It has become that because there's no point selling it. I like harmony on this monthly level. Like, look at the high time frames. Some of these things that are just on the high time frames, look at that. That's clean. That's really nice and clean. There's certainly opportunity out here still. It's a tough environment to trade now, but there's certainly opportunity out here. Interesting. Where would you get invalidated on this? That's the problem when you got such a big wick. I don't know about the BTC pair though. I like what this has done, but I don't know about the BTC pair. Yeah, interesting. Oh man. The nearer I can't afford beans anymore. If I can recover my start capital, I'm going to burn a box of candles at the church, and I'm not even religious. In it for the tech. Will we retest the wick again? I don't know. There's a possibility we might. But I'm just looking at this as where we are right now and taking any opportunities that may be there. I'm really quite interested in one here, so it's a good level. I just don't like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of spot. Never mind. Where are we? What are people saying? Ramen noodles, 25 cents a pop. Oh, this Axie Infinity stuff looked like a good little buy down here as well. Sol's held its BTC pair quite nicely, but not too sure on that. Serum wrecked. Never mind. This market was carnage. Wow. V-chain interesting. Woo wrecked. XLM. XLM could be very, very interesting. From a perspective of it having accumulated for such a long time. Don't know why that's green. Okay, best looking assets for me. One. What was I looking at? One. FTT. Did I look at Link? Someone just asked me to look at Link. Not much for me to say on Link right now. Matic probably a bit late. VeChain. XLM. Maybe this might be the time for XLM and XRP. They often just pop when everything else looks completely, yeah. During those most savage of times, sometimes you get some really nice moves from XLM and XRP. I'd be very interested to see what these do over the course of the next few weeks. And I'm mainly looking at this because, okay, so this is the same for both of these, XLM being a really nice example of it. Just an extremely long accumulation. Okay, very, very, very long accumulation here, which has gone very flat on the BTC pair recently. But what we've had is we've had a really good, potentially a good spring here with good volume coming into it. It's tough. When XRP pops, it's end of bull run. Hey, that doesn't matter. If it pops and you can make money off of it, then the bull run can end. That's all good. You just trade. You're here to make money. Doesn't matter about the bull run. If there's still opportunity out there, then there's opportunity. um, Luna. I'll look at Luna. I'll look at Elrond. I'll look at. See, Luna's already had its low for me. Let's get rid of this. I like it. Yeah, the problem with Luna is it just looks strong anyway. It had a really good run after all of this, so you can't really say how low it would go. I think if you saw Luna come back down to $43, that would look alright. And again, at some point we probably will see it come down again to 21. But yeah, I don't know. Atom's one that I just don't think looks very good. Um Yeah, not particularly interested in Atom. And Elrond, EGLD. Basically, this being that level you're looking at. I think this is just from 4 hours, isn't it? Yeah. Got a weekly OB. You got probably the one you want to be looking at. I mean, Elrond could get a bounce underway here. That's all the pairs I'm going to go over. I've written the ones I like the look of. I like the look of one FTT, VChain, XLM, XRP. Whether or not I hacked on these, I don't know. But they're the ones that do look like they have potential to get a bounce underway. Like even if Bitcoin does pull back, which it will do at some point probably, but even if Bitcoin does pull back, those, yeah, one FTT, VChain, XLM, XRP are looking half decent. So it's mainly for me just looking at spot. All right, we got 1 minute till the weekly close. Then I'm going to wrap it up and see what happens tomorrow. How are your NFTs holding up? I bought some. I bought some NFTs during the dip. I put some little stink bids in on some NFTs the other day. Some of them got accepted. So yeah, I've got a couple of new NFTs in the pot thanks to the dip. And now that ETH's cheaper, it's all cheaper. Cool. All right. Well, that is your daily open. There it is. We had a little green candle for the daily open. I'm not going to do anything else from that. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll be around as usual tomorrow, start of the week, and yeah, hopefully that's given people a little bit of perspective on the charts. I mean, this is the first time I've looked at it since the drop, so I'm figuring all this out as well. But yeah, I'll be around tomorrow, and we'll of course do a lot more then. We'll have the new Advent Calendar Day released tomorrow, whatever that may be. What will be behind December the 6th? Who knows? Yeah. Thanks for watching. Smash up the likes before you leave the stream. That would be lovely. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Cheers.